You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance when you call that number. It comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990, and of course, we're celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. National Chop Suey Day. I like chop suey. Of course, I like most. Am I allowed to say? I don't know if am I allowed to say Chinese food? I like Chinese food. I enjoy it. It's, of course, there's not a whole lot of foods that I don't like, but Chop Suey Day, yeah, I get those noodles and veggies and all that good stuff. Interesting, though. I don't remember when I was in China them serving chop suey. Although I think it might be an American Chinese dish. So we'll keep it on the menu. National Lemon Juice Day. This is not one that I'm a big fan of. I'm not a big lemon juice guy. I like my vodka just plain. I mean, my wife will put some. The bride puts vodka, lemon juice in the vodka. So is that the number one use for lemon juice? I don't know what else. What else do you use lemon juice for? Well, I mean, you don't sit there and drink lemon juice. Although, I guess when I get a cold, I don't get, knock on wood, I don't get them too often. Get a cold, a little warm brandy, a little bit, put in a little warm water, lemon juice, honey. Take that, does wonders. If it doesn't, do it again. It'll work better the second or third or fourth time. By the fifth time, you just don't care, so it doesn't matter. Just throw that out there for you. Should we take a look and see what are the markets doing today? The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 202 points. The S&P 500 is up 49. NASDAQ up 204. Oil up 27 cents a barrel at $80.38 a barrel. I was on the road the last 4 days, market research, of course, and I found out along Highway 5, California, I actually paid a little bit over $6 a gallon of gasoline. Ow! Painful. Northern California, in the 540 range is basically where I was there. I haven't filled up since I'm back, so we'll see what that does. Josh, you're at $4.50 a gallon. You guys have taken a pretty good sized jump there too. And you guys don't like taxes as much in Nevada as we do in California. We enjoy taxes. It used to be the Golden State. Now it's the Tax Me State. We used to be able to go out and find gold. Well, now you don't find gold anymore. You just work your tail off and give it to the government. The way it works. Jody, 433. Brittany's at 397 and a half over there in Colorado. And I'm not sure. Do I want to look? You ready for this one, Josh? I don't know, Josh. Do you look at these things in the morning too, or is it just me? You probably wait to get ill when I say it. $3.39 a gallon is what Lori's paying, our tremendous underwriter in Louisiana. $3.39 a gallon. And we're over here at $5.29 a gallon. Almost $2 a gallon more in the formerly Golden State. Not fun, not fun. But, there are prices to be paid for all these things. I was looking at some home values while I was on the road. Obviously, I do a daily talk show about home and finance. I lead a lending company, so you don't go anywhere without looking at what's happening in the financial world of real estate. There's some pretty expensive prices out there in Northern California. We got them in Orange County as well. I didn't look quite as closely when we were in Bakersfield area. It was a little cheaper out there, but I didn't spend quite as much time looking at the valuations. But there's still people out there looking to buy on Thursday, I should say, not Friday, Thursday. Sweet Linda Eisman. Okay, I've got some help here. Linda, you should be in the studio with me, helping me on these things. Sweet sour flavor that's uses for the lemon. Okay, I can go with that. So it's not just for the vodka. Okay, it's got its other uses. So I was out at a seminar on Thursday before I left town, and still talking about there's people out there, and I hear all the time. I just listened to the news this morning. Very, very confusing because you get people talking about real estate on the news. And I think it's talking heads who are talking about real estate or people that are not out there in the trenches. Early morning Business Channel, they're talking about how real estate values are dropping. Later, Business Channel is talking about how real estate values are going up. How can both be the same? Well, if you're the average listener, not listening to Ron Siegel Radio, you'd say they can't be the same. But we all know that you can make statistics say whatever you want them to say. So how is it both accurate? Well, one award article is talking about median home prices. Median home prices are dropping. That is true. Why? Well, we did a section on this. I think it was a Mortgage 101 last week, where we spoke about what does median value mean? Median value is the mix of properties that are being sold. Even my friends over at Chapman University talked about how they're forecasting the median home price to drop over the next year. Well, they said median home price, or actually all they said was home prices are going to drop. Then they talk about it, and I know because I went there 100 years ago, I know they're talking about median home prices. That's nothing more than the mix of home prices that are selling. It's the mix. It has absolutely nothing to do with your home's value. Your home's value is still going up. Your home value is appreciating. Maybe it's not appreciating as fast as it did during the unicorn years, but that wasn't healthy. We don't want home prices to go up that fast all the time because then they rebound and they go down. So we don't like that idea. We want them to go at a nice steady pace. We're not talking about NVIDIA here where it can go up, 100 or 200% in a year, because we also know that the next big thing that comes out can bring it the other way. So if you hear somebody saying that home prices are dropping, ask them if they mean the value of the home on your street, or do they mean median home prices? See if they even know what the difference is. That's a big issue. Now, we also hear about people not selling their house because they've got a 3% mortgage rate. Okay, well, I understand that people are not selling because of a 3% mortgage rate. Nobody wants to give up that 3% mortgage rate unless you've been educated on Ron Siegel Radio, because many of the listeners of Ron Siegel Radio are aware that all that matters is your household debt service. We don't care on Ron Siegel Radio about one number because that doesn't make your whole house. We're more concerned with what does the whole house picture look like. We want you to be looking at your debt service, the total blended household interest rate. When we look at how much debt service people have right now, we understand that you've got credit card bills. We've been living off of credit cards lately. We understand that your student loan payments are coming back. And if you haven't gone to RSR, studentloanhelp.com, You're not watching that part of it to understand there are options for you to minimize those payments with laws that are already on the books. So let's think about that portion of it as well. Now, what is your blended household interest rate? If you want to know what that is, send us a schedule of the debt, the interest rate, and your payment. Just put them all on a spreadsheet, put them all on scratch paper. Don't send them on a piece of toilet paper that you wrote it on while you're doing business. But send it to RJ at ronsiegelradio.com, and we'll figure out what your blended household interest rate is. Because even though I know that 71% of the population has an interest rate, mortgage rate, below 4%, I also know the blended rate is significantly higher than that. And that's all that matters. We're going to talk more about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We'll also chat a little bit about why you may still want to sell your house after all, what happens when you don't pay your credit card bill on time, all that and more. Reach me anytime, off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by Ron Siegel, brought to you by Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates. They do not tell us what the APR is, points paid, points received. All Optimal Blue, OBMMI, from Black Knight tells us is what rates locked at on Friday with consumers across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. 30-year conforming loans locked at 7.207, down just a little bit. 30-year jumbo loans locked at 7.535, up a little bit. 30-year FHA loans down 6.989. 30-year USDA loans 7.017. That was up a little. Actually, that was up pretty good. And the best loan on the market, that's for the veterans who earned it. 30-year VA loan 6.874. That was down just a little bit. And if you want this information, what our thoughts are, no guarantees here, what our thoughts are on mortgage rates, you can actually get that emailed to you each morning, rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. And I will share with you, we tell you what our thoughts are. Again, we don't guarantee it. Now, if the person who had the most control over this can't tell you what's going to happen precisely, how would you think that I could tell you or anybody else? Jerome Powell has the most control over mortgage rates of anybody on the planet, and he can't tell you exactly what's going to happen either. So why would you think that I have a crystal ball on there? But I can tell you what's going on right now. 10-year Treasury down 8 basis points, 4.1256. The S&P 500 up 4.82. Mortgage-backed securities are down 42 basis points. That means interest rates are down a little bit as of right now from what Friday's numbers are or were. And let's talk about that part, because how about what's driving these? Well, Case-Shiller Home Price Index. I talked about this before. Case-Shiller Home Price Index is the gold standard for appreciation. Showed that home prices rose 0.65% in June. Home prices have been on the rise since January, are now flat from last June. Remember, last June was the peak in home prices within the report, meaning that home values have risen back to their highest levels on record and will likely eclipse them in July. A lot of the cities that were high flyers in 2022 and then got hit the hardest during the move lower in home prices are showing leadership once again. Many of the cities like New York, Chicago, Cleveland are leading the way in home price gains. So as I mentioned before, don't look at what's going on median home prices. Look at something like Case-Shiller, or my preference is FHFA. Now, Case-Shiller is a little bit older and more comprehensive. FHFA, they measure home price appreciation on single-family homes with conforming loan amounts. That's different than Case-Shiller. Case-Shiller does not, or the FHFA does not include cash buyers or jumbo loans. FHFA reported that prices also rose 0.3% in June and are up 2.9% year over year. They're now almost 3% above last year's peak and continue to set new record highs in home prices every month since February of this year. Based on this, you can interpolate FHFA is stronger than Case-Shiller because there are cash discounts being offered where buyers paying in cash are able to command a lower price. FHFA is on pace to see 7% appreciation for the full year of 2023. Pretty strong numbers right there. Looking at the charts that we have, and we could share them with you later, home prices are still going up. Case-Shiller, FHFA, CoreLogic, Black Knight, Zillow, all showing appreciation in home prices. Now, what else is driving the bond market right now? The BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics. We're going to get their numbers. I think it's coming out on Friday this week. So we know that there's inaccuracies in the report. How do we know that there's inaccuracies within the report? Well, we get their adjustments down the road. Non-farm payrolls for August. Clearly going to be the highlight of this week with a consensus of an up 170,000 for the headline and the jobless rate to stay at 3.5%. But we have to take note how bogus these numbers are. In the year to last March, we all saw where bonds were selling off after each monthly jobs report. And next thing you know, the QCEW data comes out and we find out that we have on our hands is a 306,000 downward payroll revision. Not to mention that payrolls have been revised each month this year and by a total of 278,000 or 46,000 per month. In fact, when you adjust the data for the skew from the birth-death model, the shift from full-time to part-time workers, the contraction in the work week, and the dramatic increase in multiple job holders, which is a case of double counting, there's been no job growth at all between March and July, and adjusting for these dynamics takes the unemployment rate to 4%, not 3.5%. In other words, there already is more slack in the labor market than meets the eye. There actually has been no growth at all since January in the index of aggregate hours worked. It's been flat for 6 months, and yet we supposedly are into some sort of economic resilience. And while everyone gazes at 5.9% for third quarter growth out of the Atlanta Fed, nobody seems to notice that the St. Louis Fed comparable is less than 0.5%. As we've been saying, we think the weakness is going to show up in the headline job numbers, maybe even as soon as this Friday. This is important because we believe the Fed needs to see a weak headline figure to stop raising rates. We also got the job opening and labor turnover showing openings in July. The index over the last 2 months fell from 9.5 million to 8.8 million, which is a huge drop and the lowest level in 2.5 years. This was bond friendly. It helped the bonds this morning. That's the Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. Make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So let's continue our conversation about housing and what we're seeing in the marketplace, because we hear a lot about people that are, they're not going to move. Well, we've got a chart from you here, and this one comes from Credit Karma. And appreciate Josh getting this out because I just sent it to him during the last break. So he gets these things out really, really quick for us. What would you be willing to do to delay selling to avoid having a high mortgage interest rate on your new home? So if you have to relocate for a new great job, are you willing to sell? 10% say that they're going to delay selling. 90% say they would not delay. That means kind of this chart comes from our friends over at Keeping Current Matters. It's like a double negative here. So when you look at who wouldn't delay, 90% would not delay moving. Continue living with a spouse's partner after splitting up. Getting a divorce? I'm getting a divorce. No, not me, but I'm just saying hypothetically. I'm getting a divorce and I've got a 3% mortgage. I'm going to stay with that person that I don't want to be with anymore. 7% said they would stay there because they've got a low mortgage. 93% say they won't. Let's see. We want to keep our kids in a bad school. 4% are going to stay because of the mortgage rate. 96% are moving. So when you hear people say there's nothing that's going to get somebody to move, do you really believe that? I don't think so. People are moving because they want to. People are moving because, they're not moving because they want to. They're moving because there's a need. They don't want to live with mom and dad anymore. They're getting a new job. They're getting divorced. They're having babies. They're living in that one-bedroom studio that they got right as they got married, or maybe one of the partners got it out of college or out of high school. bought a house, family's growing, need more room, need place for the dog to run. Whatever the case may be, there are still people who need to move. And the fact that they've got this interest rate that's higher, I know it. I understand that. And I see it. I'm not going to tell you exactly what anybody's charging. I'm just saying, according to OBMMI last Friday, the conforming rate was 7.21, we'll call it. People are moving. So what drives people to move? And this came from a conference I was at last week. And I love it when we listen to some of the great real estate professionals that come on Ron Siegel Radio. And they all compare themselves with one another, and they talk about the idea, and there's a lot of others as well, but talking about the idea of getting a great marketing plan, getting a great relationship, how the property is going to sell. And my comment is, what's the most important aspect? I've got some comments. Jim Norton wants to know, when are you having Laurel and Hardy back on? They're great. Soon as they finish at the Golden Corral. We've invited them. As soon as they come back from the OK Corral or Golden Corral, whatever that's called, we'll have them on. Linda Eisen, great real estate professional here in North Orange County, and La Quinta. There'll always be people that absolutely need to move. 100%. It's not the people that want to move right now. You're not moving and getting rid of that 3% mortgage to get a higher mortgage because you want to right now. It's because there's some sort of a need, right? I mean, parents have passed, estate plan, probates. Again, like I mentioned, divorce, change schools, change job, get a better job. I just saw the other day that, Amazon is now saying people need to come back to work. Well, if during the pandemic, you bought a house in Arrowhead, and it's still there, and you need to go back to the office, are you going to commute or are you going to buy a new piece of property? Of course, you're going to buy something new, a new place to live that's more convenient and closer to work. Now, before I looked at some of the comments, I started to make an idea about the great real estate professionals that all have a wonderful marketing plan. And that's important because you've got to get the property to market. But I'm also looking at, have you got a strategy to maximize the sales price? Well, we've talked about this many, many times. rsrsalesmax.com. rsrsalesmax.com. I have a real estate license. I don't use it, but I do go to probably more educational seminars than most real estate professionals. I take in information from everyone. I talk to real estate professionals all the time. And I've put together 3 of what I think are the best strategies to maximize the sales price of your property. You can look at them, rsrsalesmax.com, rsrsalesmax.com. I'll show them to you. Now, does that mean that I need to see your property to use these strategies? No. The photographer is going to see it because it's all about the marketing at that point. The strategies themselves are how you implement. And I'll give you an example of why I believe this, and I've seen it work so many times. Number one of the strategies in there guarantees you the maximum sales price. You're going to have to watch it to get the whole concept of the guarantee, but it will guarantee you that you're going to get the maximum sales price for your property. Guaranteed. But I digress. Let's go back and talk about some of these other issues. As far as getting that in there and getting the most money for your property. And why I say that, something, we get it in our head that our property is the best one on the street. You got to see it. Well, if I was the one buying it, I would say, okay, I agree with you. But here's why I say this analogy. When you understand the principles of business and marketing, you can apply them to multiple avenues, to multiple items, multiple aspects. Example, and I don't remember, I think it was, I may have them backwards, but I have the company's net right and I have the situation right. Back in, I think, the 80s or 90s, the CEO of, I believe it was Nabisco, left to go run IBM, Could have been IBM to go run Nabisco, but it was same concept. Nabisco is a food maker. They're going to make your, cereals and all kinds of different packaged food products. IBM, obviously, back then was one of the leading high-tech companies in the world. But you get the CEO going from one company completely unrelated to the other company. How could he do that? Well, he understood the principles of being the CEO of a large corporation. How does that relate to your house? Well, the principles of marketing are not going to change. The principles of marketing, whether you've got a $200,000 manufactured home or a $2 million home, the principles don't change. Where you might stick your marketing might change. Instead of being, and I'm going to date myself and don't get mad at me, instead of putting it in the penny saver, which no longer exists, you might put it in the Wall Street Journal. That's the concept. That's marketing. You also might say commentary in the multiple listing service. Yeah, I know there's people that want to sell their home by themselves. Not going to get the most money if you try and sell your house by yourself, and you're going to leave yourself open to a lot of liabilities. But you can do that if you want to leave yourself open to lawsuits. You're more than welcome to do that. I don't think it's wise, but some people want to do that. Again, but here's my issue with this is, I guess I better go to break because otherwise Josh's going to kill me. I missed his cue. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio. We'll continue this conversation when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, why you may still want to sell your house after all, what happens when you don't pay your credit card bill by the due date, and more. Reach me anytime off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com. rsrmoney.com. Why you may still want to sell your house after all, even though you may feel reluctant to sell your house because you don't want to take on a mortgage rate that's higher than the one you have. There's more to consider. While the financial side of things does matter, your personal needs may actually matter just as much. As an article from Bankrate says, quote, deciding whether it's the right time to sell your home is very personal. It's a very personal decision. There are numerous important questions to consider, both financial and lifestyle-based, before putting your home on the market. So ask yourself this: why did I want to move in the first place? Chances are your primary motivation wasn't just financial in nature. Why you're really thinking about selling likely has more to do with something changing in your life or a shift in what you need out of your house. Reasons homeowners still need to sell today? Let's explore some most common reasons sellers are moving today. A recent article from Builder Online helps shed light on this. In research, they identified the following categories. So I see 5 of them. We know there's 6. Marriage. If you just got married, you may find you either need more space than you currently have, or the two of you want to find a new place you picked out together. Divorce. If you're getting separated or divorcing your partner, chances are it'll be difficult to live under the same roof. Selling a place you have so you can own your own spot may be necessary. births. If your household is growing, you may need more square footage, including more bedrooms. If you're running out of room for everyone, you may not be able to wait to move. Deaths. If you recently lost a loved one, it can be hard to spend time in that home. You may need to move for financial reasons or because you no longer need all the space. Retirement. If you're in the process of retirement or you just did, you may be looking to downsize to cut costs, relocate to be closer to loved ones, or move to a dream location. In this new phase of life, your current home may not be able to deliver what you need. Remember, if you're thinking about moving to a new location, you got a lot of equity in your existing property. Geneva has that relocation loan or the transition loan. Great product where you can use the equity in your departing property to buy the new property before you ever sell the departing property. You may find you share one of these top motivators. If any of these resonate with you, it may be time to move so you can find a house better suited to your changing needs. A survey from Realtor.com finds other sellers are in the same boat. It says 1 in 4 sellers are choosing to move for personal reasons, even with current mortgage rates. Quote, more than half the seller buyers, 56%, who are planning to sell in the next 12 months, said they're waiting for rates to come down, while 25% need to sell soon for personal reasons, unquote. So you're going to wait for the rates to come down while you watch the price go up. Does that make sense to anybody? If you need to sell now because something in your life has changed, don't let rates hold you back from what you need. You have options to sell to make that move possible. You can use the equity you already have in your current home toward your next purchase. And with how much equity homeowners have right now, you may be able to finance less than you'd expect or pay all cash to avoid borrowing at all. When you're ready to prioritize your changing needs, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Lots of different tools out there to help you. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment. Again, brought to you by our friends at rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. So just to finish out my thought on why people are selling, because I know I've already gone way, way over time today. So the bottom line here is if you're thinking about selling, you've got one of those Ds that you need. And again, I use 6 Ds: diplomas, diamonds, diapers, divorce, death, and default. We don't have a lot of default because there's a lot of equity out there. Lots of folks have lots of equity. So if that's the case, just remember there are strategies for you. And again, rsrsalesmax.com, 3 different strategies to maximize the sales price of your property. I've got the team that's ready to help you follow any one of the strategies that are in there because they're not things that everybody's doing. I promise you. A lot of people have heard of them. A lot of the people will say, well, those don't work in my community, Ron. I was just with hundreds of people last week, and lots of them are using them in lots of parts of the country. So they'll work in your area too, because unless there's no humans in your area, might not work if there's no humans. And the other part of it is, I want to make sure you're aware, because I know there's a lot of people right now say, Ron, there's no inventory. Why do I need to engage a realtor? Only if you want to maximize the sales price of your property and minimize your risk of litigation. So if you want less for your property and more risk of litigation, do it yourself. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, what happens when you don't pay your credit card bill by the due date and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily home and finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts. If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule an appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it's wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has these solutions for you. What happens when you don't pay your credit card bill by the due date? I've been trying to get this story in and get this information off to you. I think we've been pushing this out, I think, a week already. So going to get you the information so that you have it. Most people have good intentions of paying their credit card bill on time each month by the due date. Yet sometimes, due to oversights or financial hardships, certain consumers may find themselves in the unfortunate situation where their credit card payment is late. In 2022, a little over 2% of credit card holders were delinquent on their credit card accounts, according to Experian data. If the due date on your credit card bill comes and goes and you fail to make a payment, you could face unpleasant consequences. And as more days pass, those consequences may become more severe. However, if you're able to act quickly after missing a credit card payment, you may be able to minimize the damage and potentially protect your FICO scores in the process. Here's a look at what could happen behind the scenes when you don't pay your credit card by the due date. Late payment fees. When you miss your credit card due date, even a single day, most credit card issuers will charge you a late fee. The cost of this may vary based on the terms of your credit card agreement. However, credit card issuers are allowed to charge up to $30 for the first time you miss a payment and up to $41 for repeat late payments thereafter. APR penalties. You could also face a penalty APR when you fall behind on your credit card payment. Such penalties could make any balances you carry on your credit card account more expensive. Penalty APR, if you miss 2 payments on your credit card, falling at least 60 days behind on your due date, your credit card issuer could opt to increase the annual percentage rate on your account to the default interest rate or penalty APR. This type of interest rate hike can apply not just to new purchases, but to your existing credit card balance too. Penalty APR rates may vary like late payment fees. As a result, credit card issuers must disclose them in their credit card agreements. It's not unusual for penalty APR rates to be as high as 29.99%. So as a cardholder, it's in your best financial interest to try to avoid triggering this consequence, if at all possible. Loss of promotional APRs. APR annual percentage rate, just so we get that in there. Promotional 0% or low APR can be a great potential way to save money on balance transfers or new purchases for a limited period of time. But be sure to read the fine print. Many, if not most, promotional APR offers have terms and conditions stating that if you fall behind on your payment, you could lose your discounted interest rate before its expiration date. Credit problems, missing the due date on your credit card by a single day isn't going to wreck your credit report or FICO scores. However, it could set you off on a dangerous path if you're not able to bring the account current quickly. Once you fall at least 30 days behind on your due date, your credit card issuer may opt to report you as late to the credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. At that point, late payments may appear on or all of your 3 credit reports and can impact your FICO scores in a meaningful way. In fact, payment history is worth 35% of your FICO score and is one of the most significant factors in its calculation. If you continue to fall further behind on your credit card bill, your credit card company might even eventually decide to sell your account to a third-party debt collector as well. From there, a collection account could also show up on your credit reports in addition to the original delinquent or charged-off credit card account. A collection account could cause even more damage to your credit history and FICO scores. Unfortunately, any of the negative items above have the potential to remain on your credit reports and impact your FICO scores for a considerable amount of time per the Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA. Here's how long these derogatory items can stay on your credit report. Late payment, 7 years. Collection, 7 years, starting with the date of first delinquency on the original charge. Charge-off, 7 years. On a positive note, as negative items grow older, they will have less impact on your FICO scores. A late payment that is 6 years old, for example, should affect your score less than a late payment that occurred 6 months ago. Here's some tips for avoiding late payments. The best way to protect your FICO scores, your credit history, and your finances is to pay your credit card on time and in full every month. Make sure you go to rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com, and make sure you're checking out how to pay your credit card bills the right way. Schedule automatic payments. Consider setting up an automatic draft, at least for the minimum payment on all your credit card accounts. Doing so could help protect you from late payments that occurred due to accidental oversights. If you can afford to schedule automatic drafts so the full statement balance each billing cycle, even better. Then you shouldn't have to worry about paying interest charges on your account. Pay it before the statement closing date. Make those 2 payments. Track your spending. Overspending can lead to high credit card balances that may become difficult to manage over time, not to mention high credit utilization ratios. But if you track your spending and avoid charging more on your credit cards than you can afford to pay each month, it's possible to enjoy the benefits that credit cards have to offer without the struggle of expensive credit card debt. Build an emergency fund. Even if you're great at budgeting, unexpected expenses or changes in your circumstances could make your finances difficult to manage. However, if you can save a solid emergency fund in advance, it might be easier to weather challenging situations when they arise. If you're currently struggling with credit card debt, remember it's important to take action as soon as possible. You don't want to ignore the problem and allow it to grow to the point where it becomes unaffordable or out of control. Talk to our friends, creditsanitizer.com, creditsanitizer.com. They have solutions to help you. Just throw that out there for you. Again, if you have any questions, give me a call. Also, make sure rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com, they're going to show you the right way to pay your credit card bills. rsrccpayment.com. I don't think I'm gonna try and save Josh some time and headache. I'm gonna give away a bunch of stuff right now instead of trying to get another segment in. I can see Josh almost smiling there from the control room. Okay, so let's see what we have. We haven't given away a lot of stuff in a long time. The Divorce Your Mortgage Workbook, rsrdymworkbook.com, rsrdymworkbook.com. So if you're going through a divorce, you might want to get a hold of that. Thinking about buying or selling a house, I think we're probably in the last week of having this this week. We've got the Home Buyer's Guide, rsrhbg.com, rsrhbg.com. We come out with these out quarterly. So rsrhbg.com, that's our buyer's guide. rsrhsg.com is the seller's guide. And obviously, if you're thinking of selling, please go to rsrsalesmax.com, rsrsalesmax.com. Watch that video, and then give me a call, and I'll put you in touch with somebody that can help you sell your property with a maximum sales price, rsrsalesmax.com. Got a lot of debts? Got a lot of equity? rsr3pctloan.com. rsr3pctloan.com. That 3% mortgage, it's killing a lot of people. rsr3pctloan.com. It's like percent, PCT, P like Paul, C like Charlie, T like Tom. rsr3pctloan.com will show you why that 3% mortgage might be killing you. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back and join Ron Siegel Radio where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.